Hello everyone and welcome back. In today's lesson we will talk about the basic computer concepts. So in this section we will explore basic computer concepts, the foundation of everything into digital technology. And also whatever you are using, desktop, laptop, mobile device, tablets. So this lesson will help you to understand what's happening inside your machine and how different components of your machine works together. So this lesson will be 37, around 37 titles. And when you take the lesson, there is, by the way, after this lesson, there is no programming or programs or even projects. So you will have only lesson, let me try lesson, and the quiz. Okay, no more project, no more homeworks, lesson, quiz, and discussion. That's it. So we will not use any of Microsoft programs, nothing, none of them. They will just show you some information about your computer in general. The lesson starts with the CPU and the memory, and they talk about the CPU, which is the central processing unit. So the CPU is the main unit, like it's the brain of your device. Okay? In the CPU or the microprocessor, there is a lot of things that happened inside this microprocessor with calculations and stuff. CPU can understand the machine language, which is a series of zeros and ones, and do some calculation and then connect those calculations or send it to somewhere else. In general, CPU is the main device in your laptop. It's built on the motherboard itself. So this is the motherboard and this part is the CPU. So it's a chip like integrated to your motherboard. Usually when you open the device you cannot see the CPU directly because it's in the top of the CPU there is a cooling system, okay, and this cooling system have fans and cooling gel and a lot of things to keep the CPU with a very low temperature, because once the CPU have a high temperature it will stop working and freeze your device. CPU, we have multiple models and multiple cores of the CPU. Because of that, I think you heard about i5, i3, i7 devices. When I said I buy a laptop, which is i7 laptop, this means this device CPU is multiple cores and it has 7. Like i7 means it's 7 times faster than i5 and i5 is 5 times faster than i3 and so on. Now the CPU connects with the other devices on the motherboard and the input and output devices, okay? Next to the CPU, if you can see this picture, this part is the memory, okay? So the memory, it's something where you store the information, and we have different type of memories. We have the RAM memory, which is the random access memory, and we have the ROM memory, which is the read-only memory. Also, we have some other memories like cache and virtual memory. All of those are places that you use to store the data, and we use the random access memory to run the program. Okay, all the programs and the data, they are saved on the hard disk. But when you want to run a program, for example, right now I'm running Zoom, or I'm running Google Chrome, as you can see. So Google Chrome was on the hard drive, and when I want to run it, it's copy everything on the memory. Why we run a program in the memory? Because memory is faster. So I cannot run the program on the hard drive itself because it's very slow, so your device will be very slow. So we do something called fetching or copying. We fetch or we copy the data from the hard drive to the RAM, the random access memory. And all the time that you are working on that program, it will be in the RAM, and once you finish it, go back to the hard drive. Let's imagine that you have a homework in the Word document, but you find that some errors in your homework, and your professor asks you to resubmit, fix it and resubmit your homework. So your homework will be on the hard drive, but because you want to open it to fix it, it will go to memory, to the RAM, random access memory. You fix the everything on your homework and then you save it. So when you save it, it's go back to the hard drive and so on. So the random access memory is a memory that memorize or remember the data for a little bit of time. If I disconnect the electricity from the device, the random access memory will forget all the data. Where the ROM is read-only memory, which is a memory that remember forever. Okay, even if I remove even if I remove the electricity from my hardware or from my laptop, this read-only memory will keep the data forever. An example of the read-only memory is something called the BIOS, and the BIOS is in the motherboard. It's like a battery. It's similar to the clock battery. It's like circle thing on the motherboard, and that one is a read-only memory. It's a memory, but it saves data forever. Some of those data, like the date, clock, system, manufacturer settings. Because of that, every time when you open your laptop, you have the correct date, correct time. If you open one time, you open your laptop and you see a time, for example, 2010, which is the time when they create this laptop, this means the BIOS has a problem and it cannot memorize or remember the correct data. Let me show you the BIOS a little bit from here. So the BIOS is exactly like this, and most of the time it's a kind of, yeah, like this, circle battery, and the BIOS is next to this one to support this BIOS with information. So this is the BIOS, and this is how we build it on the motherboard. Because we are talking about the motherboard, I want to show you something here. On the motherboard, if you focus, you can see some, let's see, a close picture. Yeah, you can see some cables like drawing already, or someone draw it or input it to the motherboard. Those cables called the bus. And the bus is the thing that carry the information from the CPU, where is here the CPU, okay, to the memory, where is here, or to any other devices. The bus could be 32-bit or 64-bit. 32-bit, which means it can carry 32 zeros and ones at the same time, where 64 can carry 64 zeros and one at the same time, so 64 is 2 times faster than 32. So if you see in your book something called 32 or 64, it's the size of the bus that is carrying the information between the CPU and the other devices. Also, there is a lot of titles talking about what you can see inside the CPU, and they say that we have two types of the on the program or the computer. The computer have two parts, hardware and software, where the hardware, everything that you can touch, and software is all the programs that you install in your device. And software, we have three types of software. We have the operating system software, which we discussed in the previous lessons, and we have the application softwares, and we have a driver software, where the driver software is something that you install to connect a device like a printer or scanner. Okay? Also, they talk about what is the types of the input devices and what is some types like output devices. So input devices like mouse, keyboard, we use it to input data. Okay? Also touch screen, we use it to input data. Scanner can be a kind of input data. So all of those are input devices where we use to input something to the computer. Output devices, anything that can read or show you or whatever fetching output from the device. For example, screen. Like on the screen, you can read from the devices, so it's an output device. Speakers is an output device. Projector also is an output device. Printer, output device. So all of those are some devices that you can like categorize them between input or output devices. Okay, this is the hard disk from inside. It's called the magnetic storage. So it's used magnetic to store the devices. Because of that, it's very slow, and because of that, we copy everything is running on the random access memory. They talk also about some embedded systems like IoT devices, which is the Internet of Things devices. So all of those your professor will show you. So it's mainly about different concepts about technology in general. I don't want to make the video so long for you. So please read it carefully. Try to identify some hardware components. check your operating system, check what is the type of your operating system, what is the type of your device, is it i5, r6, or whatever. Also try to access some system utilities to check and to read some stuff. Let me give you a hint how you can read this. There is two different ways, but the one that I use usually, when you go to start, just type run, and this one is not in your book. Okay, and in run, type dxdiag. So dxdiag is a place where it can show you a lot of things and a lot of information about your device. For example, this one show me that today is Sunday, April 20, 2025, and the time is 3 p.m. They show me also my computer name. The Windows operating system that I use is Windows 11, 64-bit. Okay, so the bus size is 64. And here they show you the difference between 16-bit, 32-bit, and 64 bits. Okay, they show me also that the type of my device is Dell, and it's Dell 5430, the version. I have 16 gig RAM of memory. Okay, and my device is i5. Okay, so from this one you can check whatever you need about your information. Again, dxdiag is not in your book, but I give it to you as an extra. So do this, complete the computer concept quiz, complete the discussion, and thank you for watching. I want to see you in the next